Since 2002, the Cascade Medical Team, in partnership with Helps International, has provided medical care for over 20,000 Guatemalans. Its community development teams have installed over 700 O'Neill highly efficient wood-burning stoves, making homes smoke-free and saving millions of trees normally used for fuel. The community development teams have also distributed over 500 O'Neill water filters, providing homes with clean water for drinking and cooking. Each year, Helps International sends 10 medical teams to Guatemala, arranging for each team's travel and coordinating the in-country work. Helps International began in the 1980s, during the middle of Guatemala's 36-year civil war.
The Help story is about two guys, a man named Paul Townsend, who was a Wycliffe Bible translator working in the highlands of Guatemala during the Civil War, in which a lot of atrocities were going on, and a close friend of his was murdered for trying to start a dental clinic. And so Mr. Townsend decided that he was going to try to do something. So he used his church contacts to bring down a group of people from Dallas on a fact-finding mission, and one of the people in that group was a young man named Steve Miller. And the two of them hit it off and started doing some things like bringing down used clothing and other supplies and things that people could use in Guatemala. Steve had a close friend from high school that had become a physician, and so he asked him if he would come down and bring some medicines, and they would do a clinic in a school or some things like that. And then they started bringing down real medical teams, doctors and surgeons and nurses and people doing surgery. And eventually they had several teams that developed, Minnesota and Michigan and Texas, and one in Bakersfield, California. So this is a tremendous story of two people deciding that they're going to try to make a difference. And when something is inherently right, it just kind of takes off.
Over 150 medical teams
have not only changed countless lives and their generations, but in terms of national impact, these teams have given over $150 million in direct medical aid to Guatemala. It is what countries give other countries, but in this case was given by nurses, MDs, cooks, translators, and individuals that could never by themselves ever have such an impact. Its impact to the individual is best summed up by what the indigenous have called the people with the kind hands.
18 years after Helps was founded, the Cascade Medical Team was formed and joined other Helps International medical teams working in Guatemala.
Well, it's one of those special stories, actually. It began when Jim Hayfield moved to Eugene from Bakersfield, California in the early 1990s and started talking about these missions he'd been going on to Guatemala with a group of people from Bakersfield. And when he moved up here, he continued to volunteer with the Bakersfield group, but he started taking people from Eugene with him on these missions because they always needed more volunteers. But in 1998, there were 12 of us from Oregon who went down to work with the Bakersfield team. And when we came back, we all stayed in touch. And a couple of years later, when we started talking about perhaps we should have our own team, this group became a nucleus. So we got together in Jim's living room and decided we'd like to go ahead and pursue the possibility of having our own team based here in Eugene. And the next thing we did was contact Peace Health or Sacred Heart Hospital and ask them if they would be willing to back us financially and support us in other ways for this project. And then we also contacted Steve Miller and Helps International to see if they were interested in having another medical team. So when we got an affirmative response from both groups in January of 2001, then we started putting the pieces together for this team.
Given the overwhelming medical needs of Guatemala, why do people volunteer with the Cascade Medical Team? And why do they often return year after year?
It's a life-changing experience to be able to be here and be part of this.
And once I did it, I think I was really hooked because, you know, I have never worked so hard in my life, but there's no way to express in words what it's done for me.
You know, it's the grace of these very humble people. They're very shy, and when we first come in the home, they're very reserved, but they're so gracious. They have such gratitude for what we have given them.
What we do seems so simple, yet it has such a profound effect on their lives.
We are citizens of this world. We are our brother's keeper. We have to do things. We have to do things. Because if we don't, the world will never change.
This is a special thing that we do. It's special for the people who do it, and it's special for the people who receive it.
You get up in the morning, as soon as it's light, you pretty much work all day long until it's dark, except for when you're eating. And you're tired, sometimes grouchy. And at the end of the day, you think, this was a really good day. This was well worth doing.
The adventure factor is huge to me because every time it is an adventure. The change in geography, the change in climate, the wonderful interest you can develop in another people, in another land, another lifestyle, and of course, holding all of that together is the great satisfaction of helping people who are so much at a disadvantage compared to our own lifestyle, and being able to make just a little bit difference in the world.